Welcome to Transcultural Communications, Exploring as a Participant Observer, Chapter 7. Healthcare professionals, like all human beings, are continually engaged in the process of observation. We observe something every second of our conscious lives and process a tremendous amount of information on various levels of awareness. Information remains in our conscious awareness when we use it to make sense of social situations and to participate in them appropriately. Most of our daily lives are spent going through a cycle of repetition. We tend to see the same people and the same events occur around the same time and/or day. Humans sort and organize stimuli constantly. We sift out the information that our brains deem unimportant or irrelevant. RSS means repetitive social situations, everyday events that occur over and over again. When some aspect of our routine is disrupted or an unfamiliar element is introduced, people may respond with confusion, discomfort, anxiety, anger, hostility, dysfunction, and denial. All RSSs occur in a context. Context consists of temporal, social, cultural, physical, chemical, biological, and metaphysical environments in which we live and that affect our everyday existence. Because of the ever-changing temporal and other aspects of natural settings, contexts are never precisely identical. For example, RSSs occur at different times of the day, week, or year. Additionally, people are present, placement of furniture or equipment varies, the temperature is warm or cold, or patients' needs are different. The ever-changing nature of the context in which RSSs occur requires that all behavior be contextualized. That is, behavior must be viewed and analyzed on the basis of who, what, when, where, and why of the RSS. Contextualizing behavior helps professionals overcome their selective inattention to RSSs and better understand and adapt to the cultural rules for the patterns of behavior that govern their patients' interactions. Contextualized information is what allows healthcare workers to gain a better understanding of and adapt to the cultural rules for patterns of behavior that govern their patient interactions. When cultural rules for the patterns of communication behavior are unknown, your best course of action is to follow the patient's lead. Anthropologists use a technique called participant observation to contextualize behavior and gain an understanding of different cultures and how they communicate. By watching and interacting with a group, we gain significant understanding of their beliefs and practices. They examine all the stimuli occurring in the context and not just the most obvious elements. There are 4 phases of traditional participant observation, and these processes are as follows. The first one is to be a complete observer. The observer exclusively watches in an objective manner every aspect of the situation, but does not interact. By not participating in the context being observed, they can focus more closely on every detail of everyone's involvement. This is a beneficial role when we know little, if anything, about a group and their culture. A complete observer would use gathering information techniques, such as search for information in the web and in books on how different cultures deal with certain illnesses. They may watch movies and documentaries from other countries as well as films that represent how these foreign cultures deal with healthcare issues. A complete participating observationist would read fiction and nonfiction books about other countries, track down cultural specific newspapers in local neighborhoods, pay attention and observe different cultures. How do they interact? And is there a clean delineation of subordinate behavior? The role of an observer as a participant is usually accomplished through interviewing. The observer as participant would interview key informants to clarify impressions and inferences that have been made from previous observations. They would interview and then observe and then participate. The next phase of participant observation is the role of the participant as an observer. Instead of spending the majority of time observing, you become a participant by consciously using the cultural rules for communication behavior that you have learned. Tape or video yourself on the job with the permission of all involved. Critique your behavior when you view or listen to it afterwards. Ask your colleagues their opinion of your cultural sensitivity. Look for verbal and nonverbal cues from patients that may confirm you are communicating effectively. This would be the role and the actions that a participant as observer would take. The final phase of participant observation is the role of the complete participant. Complete immersion into carrying out responsibilities within the healthcare environment. This is not recommended for newbies because as we engage in RSS, we constrict our view and focus on the task we need to perform. Therefore, we are not doing much observation. Being slightly detached allows for objective observation of actions, thoughts, and feelings. Next, we will be discussing interviewing a patient, or for another word, assessing. Interviewing key informants in conjunction with the participant observation is necessary to fully grasp or understand the cultural insider's point of view and the meaning of what is occurring in the RSS, and to contextualize it. When professionals first learn about a topic, unstructured interviews along the lines of friendly conversation are most helpful. The easiest way to learn about a topic is to get to people to tell their stories by asking broad-based, open-ended grand tour questions. So you would start with the grand tour question, and that would be, tell me what was going on in your life when you first started experiencing these symptoms. Or what is it like having to care for 3 children and an elderly parent? Also, in a given situation, you may ask, how does your illness affect your family? You can end with the broad-based question. Is there anything else that you can tell me that will be helpful?